Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to our City of Little Rock Board of Directors special called meeting for April 28th. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Director Miller. Director Webb. Director Peck.
Here.
Director Hines.
Present.
Director Lewis.
Here.
Director Compeers.
Present.
Director Phillips. Director Adcock.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wyrick.
Present.
Mayor Scott.
Here. I'll now ask Director Lance Hines to give a brief prayer.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we gather here today to take on the business of the city and our first responders in this request. We please watch for your guidance in everything that we do, say, and hear today. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, if you would please read the resolution.
Mayor, we still only got 7. Don't we need 8 to vote?
No, not for a resolution.
A resolution to authorize the city manager to execute a retainer agreement with Grant and Eisenhofer, PA, and to authorize the city attorney to prosecute affirmative litigation on behalf of the city of Little Rock as a named plaintiff in first federal class action proceedings seeking recovery of costs arising from the purchase of PFA's contaminated firefighter turnout gear and for other purposes. That concludes the consent agenda.
Move for the adoption of resolution.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. I want to thank our city attorney and chief deputy attorney, city attorney Carpenter and chief deputy attorney Lynette Perez for your hard work in this matter to potentially aid our firefighters through this process. Director Miller.
Thank you, Mayor, and certainly I think this is great. Get this thing done. We need that. I'm just curious, what type of gear are our firefighters wearing now in light of this revelation about what they're wearing or what we've purchased?
Chief Doan, and before Chief Doan, one of the things this board has done a great job of fulfilling new turnout gear over the years, but this tracks stuff from decades ago.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. Thank you, members of the board, Mayor. We do have gear that does contain this substance, this polyfluoroalkyl substance. Currently, they've disclosed that it's in the moisture barrier of our gear, in between the outer garment and the inner garment. Measures that we take is to decontaminate as quickly as possible after wearing the gear. We are currently wear testing gear that is PFAS-free at this time. Members of our Health and Safety Committee, as well as some members that are in the field.
So we still are wearing some of this gear at this point?
That is correct.
Okay. But you don't see, at this point, you're taking measures to deal with this present gear. Are we trying to get out of this gear?
We are. It is a topic with our Health and Safety Committee, and they are actively working on getting out of this gear and speccing out a set. Like I said, we have 5 members that are wearing gear. Wear testing is what we call it, gear right now.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thanks, Mayor. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you so much. There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. We're now starting with our agenda meeting. Any questions on the modifications as well as the consent? Director Hines?
Good. I got a question on Resolution 4 for Manash and staff, and This goes back to the question I had earlier on another small contract. I understand that we're doing this. I guess I don't understand. Volkert has certified surveyors, correct?
Yes, they do.
So why wasn't this, we have another small contract coming for surveying from another engineering firm for 29,000.
So they are the only, so the services that they were, this particular one that's on the agenda tonight is for right-of-way acquisition services. They can also do other survey services like boundary surveys. But if we were to contract that out, they're the only firm that can do both of those things together. So we wanted to make sure that all firms have an opportunity to assist with this work. So the boundary survey is being done separately, and we've selected Craft and Tull to do that work.
Right. So to this project, it's Corps of Engineers project, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the city's share on this project?
So I have that breakdown here. So the city itself has $1 million from ARPA funding. We have about $300,000, that's our own funding from the 2022 bond program. And then we have $500,000 that the Corps of Engineers is pulling in for this project.
Okay, and so the total expenditure on this project?
It's about 1.8 million-ish.
All right, and how many homes are impacted?
There's 4 properties involved in this project in that vicinity. Like the project affects multiple areas, but directly affecting the properties, there are 4 of them.
Okay, those are houses that have been inundated, we've had flooding,
Yes.
okay. So, and I guess the question is, I looked at this neighborhood on the Corps of Engineers map on this project, because evidently they have a homepage for it. So, they have the net return on this project is negative 90,000, so we're gonna spend all this money, are we gonna will these houses then be out of the floodplain or floodway, or are they still gonna have to buy flood insurance?
That's a good question.
It's okay if you don't know the answer, you can get it to me.
Yes.
I'm just curious that we're spending all this money, and if we've only got 4 houses, it seems to be that maybe 4 houses in that neighborhood that are in this issue, maybe a better use would be to find folks a new house in this neighborhood with said money, especially if we're gonna spend all this money and not get resolution that it's, I mean, this is part of a bigger area. I'm just
Yes.
just curious and wanted to know why we structured it this way, but that's fine. I appreciate your.
The project itself is for clearing and snagging that ditch area. Now, that is supposed to alleviate the drainage issues. Now, I don't know if that removes those properties from the floodway.
Right.
So-
And the other question is that, does this private property owner that we've got to acquire property from, do they not have a responsibility to clear those snags?
It would be difficult, I guess. I mean, I'll have to get you some answers on that.
I appreciate a little more color on that.
For sure. I'll get you
That's all I
something.
have. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Vice Mayor Wyatt?
Thank you. I have a question on item number 1. I guess, hello again. This is an item that I thought the Highway Department was funding, but yet it looks like the city of Little Rock is going to put $400,000 into it. What is the $400,000 for?
So RDOT was originally going to do a resurfacing project there,
Right.
and currently there are like 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction for traffic, and then there's bike lanes. And as a part of that project, there was a lot of concern from the residents that, a 4-lane highway is very dangerous for all the adjacent properties to make turns onto and off from the highway. So with that, they made a request to provide a 2-way left turn lane, which basically eliminates the bike lanes. So a request was made to add a shared use path or some form of transportation method for bicyclists as well. So with that, the city of Little Rock reached out to RDOT and requested to partner with them to provide a shared use path. It has been discussed that there's an opportunity through the TAP funding program through RDOT to partner with them and get some funding from that as well. So with that, this is what we're trying to do. So $400,000 is 80%, 20% of the funding that we're requesting. So it's a 80-20 match. So that's the approach that we're taking.
Where does the $400,000 come from?
It's coming from our street funds.
From street funds?
Yes, ma'am.
Not a Ward 7 project?
No,
No,
it's
ma'am.
not from a Ward 7 project.
Okay, because I'm thinking, okay, what is left off of the streets that we'd already picked? So, okay, all right. I have one more question. It's on item 6.
Vice Mayor Warwick, just so you're aware, this was a lot of conversations. Actually, this is probably now 2 or 3 years old, because actually Manish wasn't here when we had the initial conversation. Were you here? You were
I was here.
assistant. You were
Mhm.
assistant.
Yes.
John was director, and State Representative
Tara Shepherd.
Tara
Sheriff
Shepherd, yeah.
and State Senator Fred Love asked me to come to the Capitol to meet with Jared Wiley and can't think who else was in the room. But long story short,
Jesse Jones, maybe?
Jesse,
Yeah.
Jesse and Kelly as well.
Okay.
So this has been going on for about 3 years and about this partnership.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I just wanted to know where the money was coming from and exactly
Yes.
what we wound up doing. So I
Sure.
appreciate you letting me know that.
Thank you. And at some point, you'll see a resolution come to the board to allow us to enter into an agreement with RDOT for partnering on this project. So expect that in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question on 6. Wanted to know what parks we were going to be doing mowing maintenance on with this contract, and how many times will we mow these parks?
Good evening, Board and Mayor and City Manager. So these are zones that we have. We actually have zones 1, 2, and then we have the community centers, which is for the collective total. I think you asked how many cuts. There are 38 cuts per year for each park. These are weekly cuts. We have worked on this contract greatly. We've been working on we had it for 3 years. We're renewing now. We're making huge modifications in the fact that in the past, if we had a major storm event, we were still paying in different understandings that the staff, the contractor was still doing the work. We're now not paying on this contract unless the work is performed, is the change. These are also focused on when the grass is growing the most. So that's April through November. From November to April, we're only cutting bi-weekly or as needed, and then we'll only be charged for that. So what we're trying to do is the price has gone up a little bit for several reasons, but we're also able to realize a reduction if it's not being accomplished because of different reasons.
Sounds like a good plan. Can you give us a list of the parks that would be?
I don't have the
included in
full list. There's 11 and 10. We mow approximately half of our parks. This will cover 32 parks. We've changed all the locations for this contract a little bit. And what I mean by that, I know that's vague, but there's certain areas of War Memorial, for example, I use that as one example, that we're doing all in-house. Now we're gonna start cutting the front door of the park, is what I call it, with a contractor. And so we have different zones throughout the parks. I can provide you that detailed information.
I wasn't
but-
familiar with zones. I didn't know where
Yeah.
the zones were, that kind of thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was concerned about War Memorial, but also is Heineman a part of this?
So Heineman
Well-
Park is part of it, the original part, but the actual old golf course is not. We mow that with our staff, with our large bush hog. And so we don't currently include that.
Okay, so around the clubhouse, that area is going to be mowed in-house?
It is,
Okay, thank you.
yes. Just to share, I did just have somebody that reached out from our last night neighborhood association about, they offer lawn care services, and they said that they would be happy to help with Heineman And so I passed that along to my staff, and we'll see maybe about a one-off contract for that individual, but we'll see. Thank you for your questions.
Director Hines?
I'm mind questions on the item 15, if we're there,
We're there.
just a presentation on that.
Presentation, item 15.
So this is our year-end budget amendment that we do each year for the audit to balance out the funds based on the actual expenditures that occurred within each of the funds. No, that goes away. You said 15.
Item 15. Do you have a presentation?
No,
You know, bring up the,
It's just,
it's just a budget.
it's the balancing out of,
It's a year-end budget amendment. Just click the board
Right.
communication.
pull up board communication. There you go. So, Nick, this is just the truing up of actuals versus budget.
Yep.
Where'd we end the year, revenue above budget?
Revenue above budget for the full year, if you go to the base original budget, we were plus that number, that original number is amended, so it's about a $7 to $8 million
Okay.
plus of the original budget for 25.
Roughly what percentage growth? 2.5%, 3%?
Yeah, which is pretty much our standard growth each year. We did really well in sales tax.
Right. Rate of inflation.
Sales tax was actually a little higher in 25 than rate of inflation. We did really well.
All right, super. Thank you.
Yep.
Director Adcock?
Yes, mine was also on 15. I would like to make sure it's a separate item. It says separate on this, and I would like for the board to have a copy of this, please. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any more questions, members of the board? Vice President. Vice Mayor Wyrick, then Director Miller.
Thank you. We received email from Dr. Jarman about the MHA, and I know she's working on a response, has 10 days to do that, but when we've worked through MHA in the past year or so, we've had a lot of people that were concerned about their housing and what's going to happen to them. And Mr. Carpenter, this question is for you. I know you are looking into the information that came from HUD, but there's a thing called an ACC, which is an annual contributor contract, which I believe is an overlying umbrella contract for MHA housing. And regardless of whether or not we do anything with the recovery agreement, we still have this ACC, or annual contributor contract, that protects the individuals from losing their rental property, is the way I understand it. There was an agreement, I think it was 30 years, and there probably is still 20 years left there. So I don't believe that they're in jeopardy of losing their housing. Can you answer that question? I'd like for them not to worry about that as we work through whatever happens with MHA.
My understanding of both Dr. Jarman's letter and of the HUD letter is that whatever happens, the people will still have housing. And the main thrust is to make sure that more people will have housing.
Okay, all right. So we can take that back to the individuals that might have concerns about it, that they would still have a place to live as long as they follow whatever the rules are for the entity. Thank you.
Director Miller?
Thanks, Mayor. I was curious, as it relates to the interlocal agreements that we have, of course, spelled out here with Sheridan and North Little Rock and Cabot, you know, with MIMS. How many interlocal agreements do we have with various jurisdictions?
We've got numerous ones. When MIMS was created, it was originally an interlocal agreement between the city of Little Rock and the city of North Little Rock, in part because the consultants that we hired found that if we didn't have the volume of the two cities together, then it would not be financially viable. So that helped, and then as MIMS has grown and become the premier service within the state, and having the premier executive directors like Greg Thompson, who's here tonight, we got inquiries from other places if we would move into them. So he can tell you the actual ones. I know we've got Faulkner County. I think we've got Lone Oak. Not Faulkner anymore. Okay, we're not in Faulkner anymore. Well, why don't you let Greg tell you?
MIMS was established in 1984 as a public utility, and he's right, Little Rock and North Little Rock were the first two that started. Pulaski County folded in after that. And then over time, Sherwood, because of the size city, Cabot, so a piece of Lone Oak, the Sheridan that you see went into Grant County early. That was kind of an anomaly there. We're no longer in Faulkner County.
Are you in Wrightsville?
It's part of Pulaski County.
All of Pulaski County?
Yes, sir, all of Pulaski County. And so, MIMS being a public utility, so no profit taker, you know, we exist like the water department. We sell, we deliver people, we get paid for that, that's all. Nobody else feeds us. And so the footprint that we have right now makes sense as far as the size of the economies of scale. MIMS is not looking to actively grow. We were really designed to cover the footprint that we cover.
Okay. I was curious. Thank that answered my question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Board members, any more questions? Chief Hubbard, you want to?
I think Director Hines kind of already touched on it, but if there was any questions in regards to the professional services under 50,000, anyone had? Thank you.
All right. Meeting adjourned.